It's snowing again. Today is the 7th May, if I'm not mistaken, and winter has returned one more time. And we are almost at the city center in Lapland, Finland, at Corondi House of Culture, a very cool place of which I've made a really nice virtual tour with a little bit more professional cameras and narration. I will link the video about this amazing place of history and culture after the show is done. This is one of the oldest still standing brick buildings in town with authentic bricks from the 1930s. That's when the house was built. This used to be the outer wall of the building, and these big white arches used to be for the cars, the post bus depot cars and personnel. And now they've made it into a nice museum of art. There is a souvenir shop and also a nice cafe, which I just visited for a nice cup of coffee. And there is a brand new concert hall. But the topic of today's video is winter. How incredible is it to experience winter still late in the season? It's been snowing all day today, and there's actually much more snow outside the city center. Here it's a bit wet, but on the outskirts and in the forest it's just pure white snow everywhere. So this is the final return of the winter before we get into the real spring. One more time, fresh snow covers the ground, just as in October when we have first snow. So pretty cool, I think. Nice and fluffy fresh snow. So as always, this is Alex all about Lapland. Yesterday I've actually made a trip very far away from here into the fells of Ylläs, and I've actually done some alpine skiing, and it was snowing as well. Like we are approaching the second week of May and we're still experiencing like real winter conditions here. So that's one of the amazing things about Lapland, how long winter is here and how quickly seasons can change. I mean, we already had spring coming in the middle of April. It was plus 15 degrees centigrade. I was walking in my t-shirt around the city as it was so warm for me, but now just have to get one more time into the winter clothes, into the beanie, before we really can experience spring. But next week we will have plus 10, plus 14 degrees centigrade. Now it's about zero-ish, something like that, plus 1 maybe, and snow falling into my face. But from tomorrow spring will restart again. So let's walk into the city. It's been a while since I've done any of the lives around the city, so let's enjoy this walk. Well, you are, I guess, enjoying somewhere in a warm place. I'm having fresh wet snow in my face, which is fine. It's not that cold. But here we have one of the oldest bridges. Well, it's not that old. It's made in the 1960s, and it's been a pedestrian bridge. So they are thinking about dismantling this one in a few years when they get the budget, and building another bridge across over here. So maybe we'll see that development later. If you're just joining me on this live stream, this is Alex exploring the city in the fresh snow. It's almost like it's October again. I've started the video in this amazing Corondi House of Culture, so go check this out as well. As you can see, we are pretty far away from the first leaves and the green grass, like really, it's not even begun yet, as we are still having snowfalls, well, almost every day actually. Every 2 or 3 days there's been a fresh snowfall here in Lapland. And if you visit places, wilderness places like Ylläs, like I did yesterday, up there in the hills, it's much colder and it's really still full-on winter there. So we have a comment from Gis saying, always good to see some of Lapland from abroad. That's nice, that's nice. That doesn't look like May right now, that looks like we are in end October and the first snow is falling. So we are approaching the shopping center thingies over there on the left, but we will go across the street. Oh, actually, I'll be fast. Too late already, so I'll wait for another light. In early winter we have walked extensively around the city and I've showed you all of these buildings, what they mean. So the old buildings of the train station before, well, actually during the Second World War, this was a train depot, so there were railroad tracks aligned this way, and this was one of the buildings of the railroad, the building of the station chief, and there was another building which was the main train station. So there are still a few of these buildings left along the street, otherwise you won't recognize that it's been a train depot before. The city center is that way, and let's wait for the green light to go. When I was visiting New York, nobody was waiting for the green lights, everybody was just walking, but I guess I had to wait. Be more civilized. So now this place, which is the house of the train station manager, has been converted to the kindergarten, which is quite a nice idea. And it's one of the special kindergartens. I guess the kids here are learning some musical craft or something like that. I'm not really that sure, but it's some kind of a really special kindergarten for talented kids or something. Anyway, here we have fresh snow accumulating on the streets. So now we are in the center of the city, and it doesn't look that wintry, but on the outskirts it's like the trees are getting covered with snow once again, and looks like winter is back, at least for one day. And not surprisingly, the city looks very quiet in this snowfall. I guess nobody wants to go anywhere and just want to stay at home and be warm. So Itzai saying, great to see you again. Thanks Itzai, great to see you as well. We are taking one of the late winter strolls, I guess, around the city. So probably the last snowfall for this spring, but maybe not the last, but one of the last, definitely. I've actually had to check my records, and this is one of the latest snowfalls that we ever had in the last years. So I think last year we had last snowfall was on the May 3rd, and now it's on the May 7th. Of course, it's not really uncommon to have a very short and brief cold period even in June. 2 years back we had a big snowfall in the middle of June, at least for one day, not for the whole month, but for the one day it was wintry again. So let's see comments, at what time sunset during this month? Actually, it's quite a good question. Now I think the sun is about 10:30 or 10:40 already, so 10:40 p.m. and sunrise is about 4 or like plus or minus. It's very difficult to say because with each day the day becomes longer by 10 minutes, so every day it's just later and later and later, and already now there is no night. Even at midnight or 1 a.m. it's a bit dark-ish, but you can see everything. So half of the sky is already bright at night and half of the sky is dark. And 1 week from now it will be just light all around the clock here. So we will have midnight sun, the time when the sun doesn't set, already in 2 weeks, starting in the very north of Lapland in Utsjoki. The midnight sun begins around May 20th, meaning that it doesn't set at all down to the horizon. It doesn't set, and it will stay like that until end July. So this is like one of the crazy, mind-blowing things around Lapland in summer, or all of this season change. It's really incredible. Every 2 months this season changes here. So another question. Let me see. Does the ski resort operate during this time of the year there? Yes, Brenna. And actually yesterday I went alpine skiing for my first and the last time for this season. I went alpine skiing, not mainly for leisure, but more like for work. I had to film something related to the ski center, alpine skiing, so you will find this live stream that I did yesterday on this very channel if you look through our videos. The snow was still amazing in the north, in the fell. It wasn't slushy, it was like really hard and pure, and it was a big pleasure to do alpine skiing. So most of the ski center will operate until the end of this week, and that's not really because there is not enough snow. There is, but there is not enough clients. So that's why the ski resorts are closing this week. Of course, next week it's going to be warm, so yeah, it doesn't really make sense to be open more than this weekend. But there were like really couple of times when one of the ski resorts in the north had so much snow even in June, so they reopened for 1 or 2 weekends just for fun, you know. It wasn't a great experience because the snow was already slushy, but there was a lot of snow, so it was more like this kind of cool thing to do, to open in middle of June or early June for another session of alpine skiing. And we are in the city center. Looks pretty deserted now. I guess the weather is not exactly the most inviting. Actually, I can see a nice terrace there. Well, there are many terraces and they all look the same. They look like they have snow on the tables, and I wanted to show you that. It's a bit funny. Susan is saying, I noticed, might be off topic, but it's really big over there, Iceland, that I know. Do you know anything about him? No, I'm not expert in volcanoes, and we don't have them in Lapland, so sorry, that's something beyond my comprehension. So here we have a nice terrace. So the date is 7th of May, and there is still fresh snow accumulating. Like, look at that, it's a lot of snow. A lot of snow, and so nice to make some snowballs. So let's find a target, some municipal property over there. Again, I'm spot on. Anyway, that's kind of a terrace season is about to open here. You're really welcome to come and enjoy your drink and have some fresh snow as well. Quite funny. So what else? What kind of questions we have? Let's take a look. Does it rain in Lapland during summer months? Yeah, sure, of course it rains. but it's not like we are having some kind of a monsoon season or stuff like that. You know what I mean? One day it rains, one day it doesn't. So there is no really like a season or pattern for that. Summer temperatures and summer weather can be quite different. Like one day we can have a really warm day, plus 20 degrees, plus 25 degrees centigrade, and then another day we can have a really cold weather, just like 3 degrees centigrade during the day. So there is a big variation of that, and that depends on many different factors. We are still not very far away from the Arctic Ocean, so if Arctic Ocean says you're gonna have cold, and it sends us lots of cold air from the north, so we're gonna have plus 3, plus 5 degrees centigrade, and maybe weather not really that different from this one. So summer temperatures, they change a lot. And we have another terrace with lots of snow. I guess the terrace season will really open next week when we'll have plus 10, plus 14 degrees centigrade. Now there is not much people around the terraces. So that's the rain thing. It's saying, damn, you always hit and spot on. Yes, it's surprising as well. I guess I spent so much time playing snowball when I was a kid, so I have a pretty good touch on throwing snowballs. All right, so that's my kind of today's insight, and it is that we can have a real winter still in the middle of May. Well, 7th of May, it's not in the middle of May, but let's say in the middle of spring, so to say. Here it's pretty mellow day still. You don't have so much snow on the ground, but if you would go 300 kilometers north from here, I guess they had about 10 centimeters of snow today, so it was even more chilly, even more severe than today. But this is it according to the forecast. Now after today we're going to get into spring, and I really hope to see some fresh leaves on the trees, because it looks a bit a bit too minimalistic, too gray, without leaves everywhere. So hopefully what we'll have in the next few weeks, we'll have wonderful sunsets which are morphing into sunrises with a beautiful light. I think there is one live video I did on the last day of April when the sky was amazing that way. There was snow coming, but on the same time we had a wonderful pink and purple and amazing light. So go watch this live video as well if you have missed it, and I hope there will be more of this kind of nights when we will be delighted with wonderful colors in the skies for many hours straight. So I guess that will be my next live video on this channel when it happens. Now I have arrived to our beautiful river Kemijoki and the Lumberjack Bridge. So as you can see, the river has already almost entirely cleared of the ice. There are a few funny chunks of ice flowing around everywhere. So coming of spring is inevitable, and I hope that I'll show you all of that beauty of spring in the next live videos on this channel. Here we have a ice cream kiosk, but I guess it's a bit too cold right now, and it's actually local ice cream that I like a lot. It's called the Arctic Ice Cream Factory. They make nice local ice creams, but don't feel like having ice cream just quite yet. So thanks a lot for joining the stream, and hope you have some good vibes, good feelings about life, and keep on smiling, keep on being positive, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.